So lesson 1-3 is about measuring segments, right? Congruent segments are just segments with the same measurement. At times, you can always use this symbol to represent congruency. This will be very common later on to you. And this example number 1 is, how do you see it on the diagram? Right? AB is 10 feet and CD is 10 feet. You know that they are equals or have the same measurement, but the right geometric statement we can use is AB is congruent to CD. Example number 2 is tick marks. This is another form of how to indicate that segments are congruent. Markings to indicate segments are congruent. Again, I'll be using this symbol a lot when we're writing our statements. So here you have 3 segments. You notice that MN and KL have the tick marks. So you can conclude that since tick marks, the definition of a tick mark means that it indicates segments that are congruent. You can conclude that MN and KL are both congruent in a statement, right? Last, now number 16 is asking us use the number line below for exercise 15 to 18, tell whether the segments are congruent, right? How do we do that? So this is basically going back to lesson 1-3 on how do we do measurements? How do we find the distance of a coordinate? Just using the formula once again, which is A minus B. After the value of A minus B. Right? For this one, it's gonna get kind of hectic because you gotta do it more than once, since we're gonna be comparing two segments, right? First, we're gonna start with MP first. M. If you look at your M, if you look at here, it's at -5. If you move 2 spaces to the right, this was going to be -4, and M is going to be -3. That's why I want to kind of give you an example through this, so you can have a visual of how to do this. And you know that E is right here after 5. You know that in the number line after 5, in a positive number, it is a 6. So when you are doing your work, right, and put the first value, you can either choose what value you want to do. You're still going to get the correct answer, right? Just say after the value of -3 parentheses minus parentheses 6 parentheses after the value, right? Don't forget, you always need to distribute that negative whenever it's on the left side of the parentheses. With that negative, because the negative means just -1 in a sense. So what you do is you distribute that to -1, and that's going to be -1 times 6 is -6. Drop down everything else, which is the value of -3. Put parentheses if you would like. That's the value. You can use once again the Desmos scientific calculator. You don't want to use any of this a lot of hard work, right? So here you have -3 and -6, so you have -9, and now the value of -9 is +9. Okay? After the value is cancelled, and you're left with a +9. That's the value of M T. Now we have to compare the values of MP and NQ. So let's start doing points N. Point N is after 0, so you come to the right, it's +1, 2, 3. And then you have Q, which is 2, 4 from 10, which is 11 and 12. Q is 12, right? So when you do this, right, again, you're just going to be doing the same formula, which is the A minus B formula. You choose either one. Once again, if you want to choose Q as your first coordinate, just put 12 first. And you're still going to be correct, right? And then put the minus, and then parentheses, and substitute for the B, which is the second value, which is 3. And then 12 minus 3 is +9. Oh, sorry. If you already saw a pattern, but if you you want to just distribute that negative, if you like, because you're already used to it, you can. So you distribute, and that will be -3. Negative times a positive is -3. This is just for, but if you want to create shortcuts, that's up to you, but make sure you are um, well aware of what you're doing. Don't create shortcuts that you're not really fully understanding the concepts. Again, 12 minus 3 is 9. Parentheses, this still not cancels out, and we can cancel out this absolute value bracket or border by just turning the number within the absolute value into a positive number. Positive, negative, just make sure you know that the result will always turn to a positive. So you know that it's a positive 9, you know that the value of, and Q is 9, and P is 9. So we include that, and P is congruent to segment and Q. That's how you're gonna write your answer. Right? Do that, and do this, and you're also gonna do next one is we're gonna be doing, hold on, momentum. What about if, let's just say, I don't want to give you another example, but let's just say, what if, right? Let's do a what if example. What if, right? Let's say what if. What if in this question in this left side here is asked, what if we resulted from MP equals to 7 and NQ equals to 7. How do we write that statement, right? You're going to say they're not congruent, correct? But this is just the official way of writing it, which is MP is, you're going to put the congruent sign and you're going to put a cross, right? Because they're not congruent. So MP is not congruent to MP. So this is a what if. I just put a what if so we don't have to waste so much time giving you another example of what we did on the left.